you can expose your app to the outside world while it's running on your machine in a safe way. And why would you want to do that? Well, for demos, for testing, for QA, you're not always going to need the ceremony of a pipeline, especially on an early stage application. You're basically sharing your dev machine instantly. So let's run through these 7 steps and see how easy this is. First, we have to start from our application folder. So let's change the directory to route care. Let's verify we're in there. We are in our dev directory. That is where our code and our Docker image exists. Number 2, we're going to build and run the container. So we're going to build the image, we're going to run the container, we're going to verify it's running, and then we're going to run a curl request to make sure it's returning 200. So the next step is to just curl this and make sure it's returning 200. There it is, 200. Now, the piece with the actual tunnel, so we can expose this via Cloudflare proxy to the outside world over a subdomain. So what we're going to do is run this command to create the tunnel. I have the Cloudflared CLI installed on my machine, so this will work. That is a prereq of this. So the Cloudflared CLI, the tunnel create subcommand, and the name that we want to give to the tunnel. So now it's returning the file where Cloudflare wrote the credentials it wants you to use to authenticate your end of the tunnel. So we'll need this key. And we'll actually need this path also. So step 4, create the configuration file. This config file routes the request to the appropriate port on our local machine. So step 1 is actually opening the configuration file. I'm going to use NeoVim as my editor. And now we need to paste in the configuration. What is this configuration doing? It's identifying the tunnel. It's specifying the path to the credential file that Cloudflare generated and gave us when we created the tunnel. It's specifying the protocol. And then there's the ingress definition. Anything with the hostname route care that hits our end of the tunnel is going to be routed to localhost 8080. That's the path, rather the port, that our host machine is exposing the Docker container. So let's copy this. Let's look at the next step, 5 of 7. We're going to create the DNS route from the host name to the tunnel. So that's what we're doing. Tunnel route DNS route care tunnel. So we're mapping the tunnel to this subdomain. You'll note it added a CNAME inside of Cloudflare for route-care. And that's what we need. And it's mapped to the tunnel that we just created. Step 6, we have to actually run the tunnel. So what we're going to do is end it in ampersand so it runs in a detached mode so it doesn't block the UI. So it should be running now, but let's verify. That's the last step. We're going to first curl, and it looks good. It's returning a 200. But let's hit it in our browser to make sure. And it looks good. So route care, the subdomain on this public domain, is working. It's exposed to the public world.